is my goal to prevent Iran from obtaining a nuclear weapon. But I sure would rather do it diplomatically. I'm keeping all options on the table, but if I can do it diplomatically, that's how we should do it. And I would think that would be the preference of everybody up on Capitol Hill, because that sure is the preference of the American people. I'm not surprised that there's been some talk from some members of Congress about new sanctions. I think the politics of trying to look tough on Iran are often good.
The president talking about Iran sanctions and the prospect of those sanctions up on Capitol Hill. We're back with the panel. Charles.
That is a quintessential Obama statement. Notice how he completely discounts the substance of the arguments of those who think he cut a really bad deal and it needs to be backed up by sanctions that a Congress would pass. Instead, he says, I understand the motives of the other guys, political, re-election. He acts in the national interest. Anybody who opposes him is acting for a base motive. He does that all the time. And the reason it upsets me is I've seen him in private twice over these 5 years. He knows that there are strong armies on a lot. He's a sophisticated thinker on politics. He understands the other side. He knows it, and that is pure demagoguery. And the worst part of it is it's not ignorance. It's a deliberate attempt to distort and devalue the other side.
Chuck, there is a split in his party, at least a few dissenters here on this issue.
Well, you know, he was asked at this press conference at some point, what was your biggest mistake this year? And I think that comment he just made, attributing political motives to these Democrats, might qualify as the biggest mistake he made this year, because if he's going to try and manage this issue with them and limit the sort of internal squabbling, this was not the way to go about it. I think, you know, the people who are on the other side of this issue from him within his own party, Chuck Schumer, Mark Warner, Bob Menendez, these are big players on the Hill. He has a lot of business to do with them. And it was a gratuitous remark that I think was not in his own interest.